大家好，这是我们的中国文化历史报告。我的名字是张子轩。
我的名字是蔡西。Just kidding, sing that in English. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Jason.
And this is our APEC final for Chinese culture. Okay, so the Silk Road was the Chinese equivalent of the Age of Exploration by land. It ran from the Chinese capital to Chang'an to Damascus and other Middle Eastern cities. And the political aspect of it was that Emperor Han Wuti sent explorer Sun Qian and along the Silk Road to seek an alliance with the Yue nomads against the Xiongnu, also known as the Huns. By the time Chang got there, however, the Yue had become civilized and wouldn't ally. He was forced to turn back. This was the beginning of Chinese trade with the West, as this was the first time China had been exposed to European culture. After the Huns defeated Rome, however, the rising Ottoman Empire cut off the Silk Road until the Mongols, which removed European interest in Asia and its goods. This is the picture of the trade routes.
Okay, another key part of history was the development of gunpowder by Chinese scientists in the 9th century. This occurred when Chinese scientists were trying to find a better cure with saltpeter, and they decided to mix it with sulfur and charcoal, which created gunpowder and blew up in the faces. This eventually caused the development of gunpowder weapons in Europe and in Asia, which allowed Europeans to take over the Americas and develop a whole new type of warfare. This is an example of poetry spoken during the Lantern Festival or Yuan Shao Jie, where people would celebrate peace and harmony. 法轮天上转，梵声天上来，灯树千光照，花艳七季开，夜雨宜流水，春风寒夜梅，繁动黄金地，通发琉璃台。
This is a qi pao, worn during the Manchu dynasty, which is the last dynasty of the Chinese Empire. Originally, it was a long two-piece garment for women, but as late as the 1920s, it turned into a one-piece garment that was shorter and had these cuts like this. Today, they're only worn for formal purposes. There is an agreement between Xi Jinping and Pope Francis, where Xi will nominate bishops for Pope Francis to approve. Previously, the Chinese Patriotic Catholic Association, which is controlled by the Chinese president since Chairman Mao, was not accepted by the Catholic Church in favor of a persecuted underground church. This agreement has been argued for a unification of the two above groups, but conflict remains between the church and the state, including but not limited to re-education of priests and destruction of religious sites by authorities.
Another current event going on currently is the restriction of American software given to China. This resulted in Google withdrawing its programs from Huawei, which is a smartphone, which will lead to small issues, as Huawei uses a lot of Google's software to create applications. This order was passed on by Donald Trump on May 15th, 2019. This may lead to the formation of another Iron Curtain, which is a Cold War technology.
Connection is that my mom is Fujian Chinese. Her grandparents moved to the Philippines in the late 1920s. Then 2 generations later, she moved here, married my dad, and had me. Because my father is of European descent, however, I've only been exposed to Chinese culture to a limited extent. So I wanted to learn more, and I took Chinese class here at Dolorite and did my project on China. Unfortunately, I've never been to China though. The most significant thing I've learned while doing this project is that to solve similar problems, different people may take different approaches. With Christopher Columbus, he sought to sail the ocean to find Asia. However, with Sun Qian, he traveled by land to go find the Yue people.
My personal connection is that I'm Taiwanese, which means that my ancestors came from China. This leads to me being curious about what China is like, causing me to choose this. Suggested place I would suggest you to go to, in other words, would be the Great Wall of China, or Changchun, because it is a significant part of China's history and relates to our current political situation. The most significant thing I learned was that the development of gunpowder was by accident, which is interesting because that means that as most of the discoveries in science were also by accident, such as penicillin. One thing I think you should know is that the censorship and restricted information is very tightly regulated, which means that our Tangren, their Internal Daily Lantern Festival, because they're round, they symbolize family togetherness. This is a video of us making it. Please don't kill me. You're now immortalized in the video.
You know it's still going, right?
Yeah.
Stand up.